When Players' Championship Week dawned in March 2020, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan was on a media tour in New York City.
Definitely had a sense that a storm was brewing. It was very clear that it was going to impact our business. It was a matter of when. I certainly didn't think, we were 4 days away from it shutting us down.
Jordan. 1,000 miles away, back at TPC Sawgrass, the rhythms of tournament week remain the same, only with an added layer of precaution.
I love to fist bump and high five the kids, but it might be the 1 week where we don't do it.
Everyone felt comfortable with the plans in place. They were excited to play in the Players' Championship. It's their event. It's our premier championship. The focus at the beginning of the week was really all about that.
Players' Championship, how y'all feeling tonight?
The Chainsmokers concert, what went into the decision to go ahead with that event?
I think the team really focused on health department and CDC guidance being the key. This was all happening in real time. This was happening so fast for all of us.
Though the tour was still operating within the health guidelines at the time, Wednesday brought a steady drumbeat of concerning news. None more alarming than the NBA shutdown. When the news broke, Monahan was hosting his annual party when he welcomes international guests and sponsors into his house.
What I tend to do at that function is I put my phone down. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to focus on the people. The last person left, I went and I grabbed my phone and I turned it on, and then all of a sudden I was getting a lot of text messages, and I got an alert that the NBA had shut its season down. I knew we had a bigger and more immediate problem as it related to the next 4 days of the Players' Championship.
It felt like, okay, this is more than just business as usual. We need to gather the troops and start talking about, is this going to have a significant impact on what we're going to do this week and beyond?
What the team decided was that we were going to get together first thing the next morning. I didn't sleep much at all that night. I don't think many people did.
You get here and it is a golf tournament. Sometimes once the first ball's hit, you can sort of lean into the golf experience itself.
We're tracking and monitoring the health information provided by the CDC and the World Health Organization. Both the White House and the governor's office have been and are supportive of the precautionary measures we've taken to this point.
I remember the commissioner, as we were talking through fans, no fans, he's like, I just dropped my girls off at school this morning. They're sitting in a classroom. It just didn't seem like taking that drastic step to cancel it, that it was time yet, considering all that other normal activity that was going on.
We were sort of going back and forth between the boardroom, where we're really trying to plan out what we do, and the locker room, and talking to players. And we looked and said, okay, we got to figure this out. How do we do this? How do we do no fans on Friday for round 2?
Midway through the opening round, the tour announced it was continuing the tournament, but with only limited personnel on site.
We were comfortable that given the nature of the virus, that ultimately we could stage the event. We weren't comfortable that we were going to be able to continue that in the weeks that followed.
Concerns escalated. President Trump announced travel bans. Other sports suspended their seasons.
Thursday, I was playing late. By the time I came off the course in the afternoon, the world was shutting down.
This is a pretty serious thing that we need to do all we can to make sure that people don't lose lives over it, that we can prevent.
Disney World had announced that they were going to be shutting down. That's a big deal in the state of Florida. It's only a couple hours from here.
We started taking a look at what are the wins. If we get to Sunday, what do we achieve? If we just cancel now, what have we achieved? And when you compared the answers to those two questions, one seemed, quite frankly, a little selfish, right? Let's not be the last to say, we're going to cancel and then someone gets sick.
After more than 12 hours in a conference room in the TPC Sawgrass clubhouse, a resolution.
I was writing on the wall, kind of taking notes. What would reasonable people expect a responsible organization to do in a crisis? So I wrote that on the board, and this big piece of paper, and taped it up there. Jay looked at that question and he said, I think it's over. I think it's over.
I think that that is what a reasonable person would have expected us to do. I think there's certainly people that think that a reasonable person would have said we should have shut it down earlier. I still feel like we went through the right process and came to the right conclusion.
There is no golf today, no golf for the foreseeable future. It is with regret that we are announcing the cancellation of the Players' Championship.
If you had told me 10 days before the Players' Championship, that's what my Friday morning was going to look like. It's just a really unfortunate but challenging sequence of events.
Early Friday morning, players arrived to clear out their lockers, unsure when or if they'd return to competition in 2020.
We're obviously incredibly disappointed to suspend the PGA Tour season for our players and our fans. I've said all along, the health and safety of everyone is our #1 priority.
After shutting down for 3 months, the tour returned in June at Colonial and has played every scheduled week since. Of course, this is no time for a victory lap, not with the country still in the throes of a pandemic. But the 2021 Players also offers a natural reflection point. Over the past year, golf emerged as a leader, as one of the last major sports to shut down and the first to return, initially raising millions of dollars for COVID relief, and soon after, the successful resumption of the tour.
I'm most proud of our players. They took ownership of their tour. Our sport lent itself to this great challenge we were all facing, and to be able to inspire people at a really down time could be a really good thing for our sport.